So brains are weird. Like they're baffling. And I was reading, as you do. I know. I'm a man of culture. I know. Great. Greatest of all time. But yeah, I was reading, so then was watching a video, I guess, and that video just fascinated me, and I just had to talk about it. And it was about how brains work, and it just kind of made sense, honestly. Like it's was about like your brain constructs the world that is all around you, and the points they had to prove this was that your brain has a fairly low data transfer speed considering the massive amount of data that is being transferred, and the simple fact that if you touch your nose with your hand, you will feel it at the same time. You will feel you touching your nose and your hand touching your nose at the same time, even though the distance is greater. Or if you touch your foot's very tip, and you can feel both at the same time, even though distance is much greater to be traveled. And if you see something happen, like flick a loud object, I guess, and I see me flicking the loud object and it ringing, I hear the ringing and then feel myself hitting the loud object, the ringing object. And it happens at the same time, even though these all have very different speeds. Like the speed of your feeling is like about 100 meters per second, but I could be wrong. That's just a guess off the top of my head. But like about 100 meters per second, and it's much slower than the speed of light, which is almost like 300,000 kilometers per second, and the speed of sound, which is like 1,000 kilometers per second, which is insane. And these things, they all travel at different speeds, but you experience them at the same time. And the research that I was listening to was just fascinating because, like, it's not just that you experience everything, your brain thinks in the future effectively. Like, if something is happening, for example, you're playing ping pong, well, professional ping pong, when you hit a ping pong ball and it's coming towards you, it takes about two blinks worth of time for the ball to come to you. And that's not a lot of time. And you have to think before that the ball even comes close to you. And that's what your brain does. It just all you think about what to do before you even do the thing. Ever even think about doing anything. Your body does realize eventually what your brain does, thought up eventually, but that's after you have performed it. Your brain isn't connected together. Like, it may feel as if your brain is one constant experience or connected as if a computer, but it's really not at all. Like, it's very disconnected. Like, a part of your brain may be doing working on something where another part will be working on another thing and another thing and another thing. But your brain doesn't do it all at the same time. It predicts a lot of things. Like, for instance, walking. If you're about to stumble down, you instantly start work well, your brain instantly starts working out the way what it should do to stop you from falling, even before you realize it, because you probably don't have the time to think through it yourself. You don't have that kind of time. And it puts in question free will. But again, I don't think anyone would want to do these tasks, consciously want to do these tasks, or could actually do these tasks. You, I don't think, would want to calculate how, what to move, what to do to not fall. You just move. For instance, if you're moving your hand, I mean, it just comes naturally to you. Like, if you had to tediously think about Yes, I have to move this muscle a bit, then this a bit, this a bit to clench my fist. You don't have to think individually, you just do the thing. And that just fascinates me. Like how that whatever you experience could be just your brain thinking, just hallucinating effectively. And this goes even deeper because whatever you experience is basically what your brain creates for you to experience. Like it's a very close representation of reality, but it sometimes fails. That is why if you ever see a ghost, a shadow in the corner of your eye, or all of these stories come from your mind manifesting reality basically, and just having a little bit of a glitch in the middle of it. And that is what you see as something moving in the corner of your eye. That is why that happens. And this was basically a perfect explanation for me for why that happens. Like, obviously, I really don't believe in ghosts or anything like that, but I was kind of fascinated, kind of curious about why sometimes you would see dark shadow like things at the corner of your eyes, and that's basically the reason. And this also works on psychological diseases. Like, obviously, if they are illnesses as much as the flu, as much as the COVID, as much of a disease as any of the physical diseases. Like, mental diseases aren't to be taken lightly. That's just common knowledge at this point. That's what fascinates me about this, is that it both explains why you you see occasionally see shadows at the corner of your eyes, or something move when nothing did, or why people who are who sometimes hear things that never happened, or sometimes think of things that never happened, or have alternate personalities. It's because your brain basically manifests your reality. Like, if a person is telling you that they hear voices in their head, to them it is as real as me whispering in your ear. It's not different whatsoever. Start hearing voices in your head, that's basically how it probably feels. And this idea that your brain manifests reality is a big fascination of mine. Like, not a fascination, but I think it has many applications. Like, if you want to write a story, that's a great topic, not topic, but a great idea to write it on. But because it's a real phenomenon, it is just more cooler. It is cooler because it's a real phenomenon. It raises the cool factor higher, because, like, this thought process that reality is what builds up to your experience of it is a very, I guess, very simple, but it doesn't explain the very random phenomena that you may perceive in your life. This entire video is talked about a doctrine or a way of thinking, well, that explains those weird phenomena that people claim to be absolutely true, that something paranormal happened. But this idea that your mind builds your reality and your experience of it very well describes all what people say is paranormal. It makes you not trust your own thoughts or memories, like, not memories but your own experience of reality, because sometimes your brain just does what it does and makes up reality. Like, there's another thing that is, I guess, pseudo related. So there's a surgery where you could cut your brain in half. Basically, you have two parts of your brain, like, yeah, and you can cut the ribbon cord effectively that connects those two brains together. And when you do, people just work normally. If it happens to a person, which it does, because it's a cure for it was used to cure a disease. I think it is still used, but it was used to cure a mental disorder, and people who had gotten that surgery would be perfectly normal unless they were given a choice. In that case, their bodies, their brains would fight each other. And because there's a part of you that can't speak, I think it's the right brain that can't speak, left brain can, and that is why you can speak. But the right brain of yours is what recognizes people. So when you cut it and it doesn't communicate, it acts as if it's a separate person, but not really, because that's basically normal, the norm for it. And if you ask the person a question like, pick one of these, and then one half of them doesn't, but the other half does, and starts playing around with it, fondling it, and you ask the person, well, you picked up the thing, and the person would be like, make up an excuse, well, not an excuse, but make up a reason for why the person is doing that. And this also applies with your vision. Like, there's a there's a blind spot in your eyes vision, because of course there is. Our eyes, they aren't really that great, but there's a blind spot like in a corner of your eyes. Like, this blind spot, you don't see it because your brain just kind of makes up what should be there when there isn't anything to be there. And this does happen if you have, there are a few videos that if you get just right, like if you get an image just right so that that image lands in your blind spot, and there's a background color, just a solid background color, for example the background is white, and it lands in your blind spot, that object, if it is small enough, will just completely turn white. Now another phenomena that comes from this is that if you look at the center, a central point, and on either side of that central point with a person flashes faces, they look and appear to be, well, distorted, when in actuality, if they're perfectly normal faces, they really look completely distorted, because your brain is just manifesting what should be, what it thinks should be there, and is completely failing at it. And that just fascinates me, like really fascinates me, how human brains just kind of manifest reality. And I think I will talk about it another day, but I really find this interesting. Like, your experience of reality is whatever your brain wants it to be. So yeah, that's food for thought, and, well, existential dread for the road. So yeah, that's about it for me. Bye.